Okay, thanks for joining me in this one. In this video, we're going to practice all that stuff that we just learned. We just learned conditional statements. We learned about if. We learned about and or. We learned about if, else, else. So we're going to practice those actually in our Visual Studio, and we're going to run this code in the Fortnite program that we've already have set up. So if you haven't got to this point, just go back and watch the other tutorials because you'll get to this point. We've just done this all together. We're going to keep on going together until we can know how to write verse code easily. So in this one, like I said, let's just practice. And the first thing we want to do is we want to go back to your magic potion code. Remember that we set up that magic potion code a while back? It's like 2 videos back or whatever. All right, so let's go back there. Open up your Visual Studios, and you don't have to have your Fortnite editor open right now. We'll just save it here, and then we'll run it at the end of this video. So, first thing we need to do is we want to run the healing code. Remember that we have the healing code down here. Set player health to player health plus potion heal amount. That's our healing code. And we only want to run that if the player runs into a healing potion. And we only want to run the damage code if the player runs into a damaged potion. In order to make that happen, because right now that's not happening in our code, we have to set up another variable. So the variable we need to set up is we're asking what kind of potion are we picking up? Are we picking up a heal potion, or are we picking up a damage potion? So in order to do that, let's just set another variable right here. After we set this variable, let's press enter and set another variable called potion type. So just call it potion type. And then we can say that it's a, what kind of variable do we want this to be? We want it to be a string. So, and then what do we want it to be set as? We want that string to be equal to heal right now. So space equals quotation heal. Alright, so what we just did is we just set a variable, much like we've set a variable in the past. But this time we set a variable called potion type. That's the name of it. What type of variable is it? It's a string, and it's equal to, right now it's equal to heal. We just have it set to, it's a healing potion. Because it's a variable, it can change in the game. This is just initially what we have it set to. So that's cool. Now we need to ask if the variable potion type is equal to another string. So when we ask, is potion type equal to heal? It's going to say yes. And then what's going to happen is this health code will run off. So that's what we need to set up. So the way we set that up is we need to nest this health code inside of a conditional statement, the if statement. Remember that one? So here's what we'll do is we'll just come up here, give it another line, boom, and we'll write if. And what we want to do is we want to say space if potion type, right? So get your potion type, and you can just go down, down, enter. This is really cool in Visual Studio Code. They allow you to just do little shortcuts like that. So we want to say if potion type is equal to heal, so space equal to, and you just do a string, so heal, right? And then you close the quotations, and then the parentheses is closed, but you have to put a colon here. So we're saying if potion type is equal to heal, then, whoops, sorry. What we want to do is we want to set the player health plus the potion heal amount. So basically we have to indent this. And indent this, and indent. So this code will run off if the player health, if the potion type is healed, then this code will run off. So that's good right now. We can do the same thing on damage. So we can nest the damage code here inside of an if as well. So we could just say if potion type, and you can click on it there, and then we just say space equals to same thing, damage then you have to put your colon. Oops, colon, and then you nest this by indenting it. And remember, we learned that last time. So now it's set up so that if the potion type is damage, then the player health will be set to player health minus the damage amount. And that's cool. That's what we want. But there's a problem here, because on the healing one, if the potion type is set to heal, it says set player health equal to player health plus potion heal amount. So that would be player health, which is 100, plus potion heal amount 10. So your player's health is going to be 110. You don't want that to happen in your game, really. Like, especially if you have like a little progress bar to represent that, you really don't want that to happen. So we need to put some kind of code here to prevent that from happening. And in order to prevent that from happening, what we will do is we will first set up a new constant, which is a float, and we're going to call it max health, and we're going to set it to 100. So you see the variable player health up here. Let's go ahead and put another one up here. Let's call it, and this time it's not a variable. This is a constant. So let's call it max health. And then that's going to be a float. And it's going to be equals to 100.0. Now remember, with floats, you have to put the decimal. That's why we're putting this decimal here, because we're calling it a float. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put a min health variable right here, or a constant. So min health. And then we'll call it a float. And then this would be equal to, let's just say 1.0. We won't use that now, but we'll use that later. But we'll use the max health right now. This will prevent us from going over 100. So if you pick up a health when your health is already 100, we need to just set it back to 100. So that's what we'll set up right now. All right. So what we're going to do is, in the if statement for the heal, let's add an and. So if the potion type equals heal, right? And so let's just put a space and then put an and another space, and the player health, right? You just press enter. The player health plus the potion heal amount. And you can just find it there and press enter. If that is less than max health. So you can do the less than operator, and we never talked about that, but you definitely can do it. There you go. There's max health right there. And then it closes off the parentheses, and it has the colon, and that's perfect. So what we're saying here is saying if the potion type is heal and player health plus the heal amount, so if that's less than max health, then set the player health to player health plus the potion heal amount. Cool. That's good. That's what we want. But now that we have that if, we can set up an else, because if that happens, right? What if that doesn't happen? So let's set up the condition for if it doesn't happen. But now let's go ahead and say else. So do it like delete, and you want to write the else straight in line with your if. So else, and then put a colon. Oops. And then we're gonna say on this line, we don't want that to happen. We want something else to happen. So we just want the player health to be set to max health, because we don't want it to exceed max health. So we could just say set player health, it's the first one, equals to max health. Boom. That's just like that. So now we just solved that problem. So if they run over a health and they pick it up and their health is already 100, well, nothing's going to change. It's going to set their health back to 100. And that's how you solve that problem right there. So again, what we set up here, guys, is we just set it up how if the potion type is equal to heal and player health plus potion heal amount is less than max health, then set the player health equal to the player health plus the potion heal amount. So they picked up a potion and their health is not already at 100, so now they can get that potion. But if their health is already at max health, then we want to set their player health to max health. Cool. That is what it is. Alright. So we want to be sure to add in comments so you remember what's going on, and also that if you want to pass this code on to other people, they can know what's going on. So let's make some comments. So right here, before the heal stuff starts happening, let's put a comment, and we can just comment it on the same little thing right here, and same, say, what do we want to say? Let's say code to run if the player drinks a potion. And then also let's do another one that says, if the player's health would not exceed maximum health, they were healed. They were healed. So let's do one that says, if the player health does not exceed max health, they were healed. If they were healed. So basically it's saying, we're just coding out what's happening. So this is the code to run down here if the player drinks a potion. And if the player's health does not exceed maximum health when they are healed, I should change it to when to make it make more sense. When they were healed, then what do we want to happen? We want to heal them to the full amount. So we could say another comment right here, heal them to the full amount. Alright, so you remember how in the last video we talked about different ways to comment? If I didn't want to type £sign before all of those, I could have simply just done this. Put like this here and this here. And then everything, whoops, keep on clicking that. Everything that comes after that would have been nested into that comment. So watch this. Nested there. So just like that, we commented out what's going to happen in this code. And that was two different ways that you can comment it. Now, the damage code right here, it does work perfect. So we don't have to really alter it, but we could make it work a little bit better. We can make it work better by adding in the if statements, or the else, if else statement. So if the player drinks a damage potion that would make their health less than 0, right? We want to set the player health to the minimum health, which is 1. So if they drink a potion, we don't want to kill them off to 0. We want to set it to 1. And then if they drink a potion when they're like a damaging potion when their health is already 1, then we want to kill them. And this is a way you could teach your player with your code. We're teaching the people playing the game that the potion is dangerous, so don't do it again. But we were not being too harsh on them, right? So in order to set that up here, we need to add an if, else, if, and then an else. So this is what we'll do now. So we'll go down to the potion damage right here. And we'll say if the potion damage type is damage, right? And the player health, so let's do an player health, right? And player health is greater than the potion damage amount. Then what we want to do is set the player health to the player health minus the potion damage amount. So as long as the player health is greater than the potion damage amount, meaning it's above how much the potion, what is the potion damage amount? It's above 20, then we'll let them get minus 20. However, remember that we want to put that 1 in there. So we say else if, we can come down here And then remember, you could just backspace. Oops. And then we need to write else if. There we go. And else if needs to come with a condition too, because we're checking something else. So we'll say player health. And you can find your player health there. We want to say if player health is greater than the minimum health, then we want something else to happen. So put a colon. Oops. Put a colon and then press enter. If the player health is greater than the minimum health, then we want to set the player health to the minimum health basically, which is, so set player health equal to 1.0. So basically it's saying if the potion type is damage and the player health is greater than the potion damage amount, if the player health is greater than 20, then take off 20, basically is what this line is saying. But if the player health is greater than the minimum health, so if their health is greater than the minimum health, then we want to set the player health to 1.0, right? We want to almost kill him with the potion. And then if the after that, we want to set the player health to 0 on the else. So if they already have 1.0 right here, then we're going to set it to 0. So you can just make another line, backspace, and now we need to do else. And then, why does it keep on doing that? I keep on pressing the wrong button. So else, enter, and then we'll say set player health to 0, equal to 0.0, because it's a float still. And then we can have the rest of that still run off, and that looks good to me. Remember, we need to add comments here as well. So let's add some comments here to see what's happening. So this is the code to run. Let's go ahead and put this like this. Let's add these comments just like this. Bow, bow. And you can say this is the code to run when the player drinks a damage potion. If the player drinks damage potion. Alright, and then nest, and then you can write some more, say don't eliminate player. You don't want them to eliminate the player if the health is above minimum health. If the player health is above min health, but below player damage. Yes. Like the potion damage, I'm sorry. So if they're already below minimum health, eliminate them. If they are alright, so remember the green stuff, the stuff that we're writing behind these little comments here, that means nothing to the code that's going to play. It's just us telling ourselves what is happening here. So we remember when we take a break for 2 weeks and we come back and like, what did we write all this stuff? I forgot what this means. But this is just so you could do that. Alright, so going on, we've got this set up, and like I said, at the end of this, we'll run this. But let's go on. Remember to add those comments. Cool. Now, we can do some prints to do some checks if you would like. So, let's say, I mean, we've already got some prints coming off of here, but let's do some other prints. So on the heal one, let's go down to our heal right here. And after here, we can do a print. And let's say, oh, actually, no, not even after here. Let's do it in the if and else so we can get two different kinds of prints. So if all that stuff is true, cool, 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 set the player health to plus the potion, and then we're going to say print. And then what it is we're going to say full heal. So basically on the screen it's going to show that they got a full heal. Else, if all that doesn't happen, we need to, what we'll do is we'll say the player health is too high to heal because they can't get any more potions. So let's just say print player health too high to heal. So then they can't get any more. And make sure you close it off with the quotes. Alright, cool. That's perfect. So now what's happening here is we just got a print. So on our screen, like we saw before, when we run this, if this condition happens, then this will print, and if this condition happens, this will print to the screen. So now we know what actually happened, what part of our code ran. Now let's put some checks in the damage one. So right here in the damage, in the damage one up here, we can say if this happens, set the player health to minus potion damage amount, and we'll say print full damage. Alright, and then else if the player health is greater than the minimum health, then what we want to do is print, let's do another print. Let's say print player health is set to 1.0. So wait. Alright, cool. And you can close the quotes off. Always remember to close your quotes. You know, the other episode I was calling them parentheses. And then let's do another print for the else, right? Because there's another condition here. So, wow. So we can say print the player was eliminated, because this is if the player is set to 0. Eliminated. Okay, put your quotes there. Cool. So what just happened is we just put all those checks, and what we really can do is the checks that were there before, like this one here, the effect on player, blah blah blah, we can delete that. So delete the ones that we have written before. Let's just keep these pure ones that we have in here. And same thing on your health one, delete the ones that we had in there before. So we know what's happening with the code that we're writing now. We don't get confused. Cool. So now that all of those are there, basically, if the potion type is set to heal, only the healing code should run. Right? We got the potion type. Cool. It's set to heal already by default. So that means that only the healing code should run, which is down here. However, the if else statement that's still going to be executed. This means that if the player health is greater than the minimum health, which it is, the player will get set to 1.0. So right here, this will run off because it says if player health is greater than minimum health set to 1.0. And this code is still being executed here. We don't want that. So the way that we're going to fix that, we're going to nest these statements into an if statement that checks if the potion type is, if this is like a damage potion or if this is like a heal potion. So let's go ahead and look and see how that would work out. Basically, we're going to get rid of these ands. I don't think we're going to need these ands anymore. So let's work on the heal one first down here. In our heal one, we don't want to get messed up in the game, so let's make it perfect. So if the potion type equals to heal and player health plus potion heal amount is less than maximum health. Alright, so the way that we'll do this is we'll say we need to nest this if inside of something. So if the potion type is heal, then we want this whole code to run off. So we can just say if, and then we'll say potion type. You can grab it from here. And we want to say equals to heal then we want that code to run off. So I just press enter so that it would go straight under there. And let's change this code around. Let's take out the and. Let's make this a little bit better. So, because it's already saying if the potion type is heal, then we want to say if, let's just take out this part right here. It's already saying that. So we have a parentheses, if the player health plus the potion heal amount is less than max health. That's exactly what we want. Set the player health to player health. Yep, perfect. So that right there fixed our problem of this code still running this part. So all we have to do now in order to like make this one the same way is nest this same stuff inside of an if. Alright, so let's do the same thing for the damage one. So let's nest it inside of an if. So the first thing, let's press enter there. Don't worry about that. It turned green. It's okay. Just press if space, and they're going to say potion type. And you can say equals space, well, space equals to damage. And you have to write your quotes first, because we want to see if it's equal to that string damage. Close. And then you could put your colon. And yep, boom. And boom, line that up like that. So what we want to do is take out this other one that we just asked. So just like this, just like we did before, we took out this down there, and we're asking if the player health is greater than the potion damage amount. And that's exactly what we want. So let's make sure our parentheses are closed off. Let's put that inside of parentheses actually. There. Now that should be right. We have the if, the parentheses for the if, and then it's saying player health greater than potion amount within that parentheses. And that closes it off. Perfect. So now you won't have any messed up parts of your code here. So we just ran through a lot of this code right here. So let's make sure we know what we're doing. I've explained it many times, but we've set a couple variables and we've set a couple constants up here. We set a potion damage amount, potion heal amount. We set the potion type. Right now it's heal. So what happens if we actually ran this code, y'all? We could actually see what happens if we ran the code. But let's talk about it before. It says if the potion damage type is damaged, do you think that any of this will run down here? No, it won't. But you know what we need to do? This if and this else and this else, they should not be the same. It should, the else should be aligning with this if. So let's fix that. And then because this is not right, you have to indent that. So anything after if, remember you have to indent it. Else if, same way. And then else, same way. So down here, let's fix our code down here and indent what needs to be indented. Oh, whoops, that was already good. Okay, cool. So everything's perfect. So if the potion type is heal, which ours is, then only the healing function will run. And it's saying if the potion type is heal, then set the the player health to full heal, or if they're already at full heal, set them to full health. Cool. Now, if you want to, let's go ahead and set a check that says at the end of this, print player health to player health is now whatever. So let's set up a check for all of this. So like we want all of this code to get checked, and let's say print, and then we'll say player health, let's say in quotation marks, player health now, and then let's put the curly brackets, and you could say player health. because what's going to happen is it's going to run through all of this code, and then it's going to print our new player health. It's going to say player health now, and then it's going to say whatever number it's supposed to be. So what we could do is let's play with some of these numbers so that we can get some fun stuff happening. So instead of their health being 100, let's set their player health right here. Their max health should stay 100, but let's set the player health to 80.0. And then you can play with your potion damage amount and your potion heal amount, but I'm gonna leave mine alone like that. That's cool. I just don't want them to start at full health, because when we run this code, it's gonna say 80 plus 10, right? Because it's set to heal. You can run the code when it's set to damage, but let's go ahead and run the code. I'll go ahead and pause and boot up my system, and we'll run the code together. Before you try to open up your Fortnite real quick, there's an error. I overlooked this, but we need to fix this. What's happening is the indentation's wrong. So we said if, but we don't want this else to be lined up with this if. We want this else to be lined up with this if. So let's line that up real quick, and then let's indent what we need to indent. Perfect. And then that way we'll save. Alright, so sometimes if you try to compile your verse code, it won't work right. So what you'd have to do is go back and look at where you messed up. So I told you it's very easy to mess up code when you first start, and that's okay. And right here it says like this line is not written correctly. So if I wanted to fix this, I would just delete this right here. Let's try to rewrite that again. So let's get it on the right spot. So it's about right here. This is where we need it. So we want to say if space potion type. Actually, that's the, here we go, there we go. Now you see the little squiggly red line disappeared. All I did was delete backspace until that line disappeared. So we're going to say if potion type equals, and then we'll say quote heal unquote, and then we'll put the little we'll put a colon here. That colon there will say then run these conditions. So now that that colon is there, that red line went away. However, there's another red line down here. And what did we forget? We forgot the quotes. So let's add the quotes before the end of the parentheses right there. And that should eliminate everything. Now when you save, file, save, there should be no compile errors when you press the button rebuild. And it should just rebuild. Perfect. Everything looks perfect. Compilation complete, linking complete, success build complete. So you can clear that. That's the output log. Now remember this little box here. All we have to do is we have to say launch session, because all of our changes just got pushed because we just opened it. So what's going to happen now is going to launch the session, and we can see all of our code working in the output log. So give it a second. Alright, cool. Remember, to start your session, we need to press tab, My Island, Start Game. Now, what we're supposed to see here when we press the log is we're going to see, it should show us the healing function. Now remember, don't worry about the health here because it's not really affecting our player. It's all going to be affected here in the log. So yeah, our player health, it started at 80 in our code. In our code, see, we started our health at 80, and then they picked up a healing potion, and now in our game, the player health now 90. Everything worked perfect. So what you could do is you could, tab out of here. Quit the game if you wanted to. So you can quit your game, and then you could do some more changes. Like you could go and play with your code. So you could play with all these different values. You could set the potion type to damage instead of heal and see what happens. But basically, we just wrote some perfect code that will heal our player correctly, and also damage our player if they drink potions accordingly. So hopefully you learned a lot here. That was fun running the code. In the next one, we're going to learn a lot more, and in the coming ones, we're going to learn a lot more. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of good tutorials out there, people doing a lot of cool stuff. But thanks for rocking with me, and I'll holla at y'all next time. Peace.